Haunt Squad is on all of your favorite social media sites. You can find us at facebook.com/HauntSquad, twitter.com/HauntSquad, instagram.com/Haunt_squad, and search Haunt Squad on YouTube for podcast episodes and investigation videos. Stay spooky with Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad, Haunt Squad.
Daddy Rich, what's your secret, brother? Get me to it, please.
How you doing, brother?
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you. The secret?
Yeah.
There are no secrets.
Uh-huh.
Believe that.
I believe
Except believe in the Lord.
Right.
And believe in yourself.
Yeah. That's right.
And most of all, believe in that federal green. Because money walks and bullshit talks.
In a world filled with supernatural phenomena, three explorers of the unknown answer the real questions concerning the field of paranormal investigation. V. Gomez, Natalie Jane, and Mike Wolfer guide you to the depths of paranormal studies, creepy movies, games, and comics, and more from the world of horror and geek culture. Turn out the lights, turn on your EMF detector, and prepare yourself for the Haunt Squad podcast.
Because it's better to have money and not to need it than to need it not.
Brother, and there's a good place in this world for money.
Yes, there is. I know where it is. It's right in my pocket.
Hey, give me some.
So there you go. That's Richard Pryor, Daddy Rich from Car Wash. And this episode is all about money. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it kind of is. Because we're going to be talking about Kickstarter, which I know we've done that in the past, but we're going to keep doing it because I want to. I'm Mike.
I'm Natalie.
And we're Haunt Squad.
Where is Vinny?
Where is Vinny? Actually, it's only Natalie and I this week because of the crazy American holiday weekend. Our schedules are all screwed up and we weren't able to all three of us get together. So we're just winging it. We came up here to the mansion by ourselves. And this is the first time we've been up here by ourselves.
I know.
Oh, wait, hold on. We've got a news flash. We haven't done this in a couple weeks, have we?
Well, no, we haven't.
Because there hasn't been anything new.
No, I think for the most part, people have been behaving, or at least we just...
Well, if we want to talk about people misbehaving, that's exactly what this news flash is about. A few nights ago, there was a paranormal television show on, and you know what? I am not going to name the name of the show. I'm not going to name the channel because I don't want to give them any publicity. But it was a ghost hunting show, you know, quote-unquote ghost hunting. And they went to Fort Delaware. So, there was an investigation of the fort. A team went in. There was, I think, 5 of them. 5 or 6. I don't even know. I don't know what to say.
Where do you even begin? And I'm just going to let you talk because...
Everything coming out of your mouth will be curse words and
basically
anger.
Yeah, it's just anger, and I'm angry about it, and I know you are too. But I got to keep it together. I'm just gonna let you go.
Well, here's the thing, you guys. You've been listening to these episodes that we do, and you know that our stance is we're really serious about what we do about the paranormal investigating, and we want to keep stressing to everyone that what you see on TV is not real. It's not. It's not real. We did the, expose of the Exorcist house investigation thing, and we tried to point out some of the inconsistencies that were going on there. And we saw the same exact thing going on with this Fort Delaware investigation that was on this episode that just aired. We know what's going on out there because we've been there. Mm-hmm. We know all the ins and outs of the whole island. We love that place. And to see the embellishment that went on the TV show, it's kind of infuriating because we, as Haunt Squad, our whole thing is total honesty, total truth. We put it out there to you guys the way it really is. When we get evidence, we say, hey, listen, here's a noise. It could have been this and it could have been that. We don't bullshit you guys and say, yo, it's definitely a ghost. We don't do that. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do on TV because they have to get the ratings. You have to have an exciting show. I don't even know where to begin with it. First of all, it's really cool that they went out there and Fort Delaware is going to benefit from that exposure. There's going to be a lot of people who weren't even aware of the existence of Pea Patch Island and Fort Delaware. So they're going to check into it and, go on the investigations, and that'll be great for everybody. The negative aspect is there was a lot of disinformation being disseminated. Mm-hmm. First of all, what drove me crazy, there's a section of the fort called the Endicott. It's actually one long hallway, and that's where they kept all of the cannons that faced out into the bay where they would defend the island and defend the coast. Mm-hmm. They called it the dungeon on the show. It was the dungeon. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the Endicott.
We're doing our push through the dungeon where they had locked up General Archer and hundreds of other rebel soldiers. We're getting tons of meter hits, which tells me we have a lot of spirits around us, so we need to get them to the trap ASAP.
There was never any prisoners in there.
I can't. I'm just so mad. I don't like liars. I don't like people who purposely deceive.
Yeah. I don't know. It drove me nuts. They went to all the various spots throughout the fort that we have frequented. Mm-hmm. And one thing I have to say, I'm very pleased that they didn't go into two very specific areas that you and I know are the hottest hot spots on that island. Mm-hmm. And that's that one hallway in Battery Torbert. Mm-hmm. And the officers' quarters. Mm-hmm. Now, they did go into Battery Torbert, but they didn't go down that one specific hallway where we've gotten some incredible results using the geophone, which is a vibration detector.
Right.
And they did go into the officers' quarters, but I'm so glad that no one mentioned children. Mm-hmm. Because our greatest responses and our greatest evidence from the island has come from the officers' quarters when we make reference to a child and we play what we call the knocking game. Mm-hmm. They didn't do it. I was afraid when I was watching the episode that one of the fort staff might have said, hey, listen, there's a little girl possibly in this room. If they did the knocking game, I would have been pissed. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they didn't do that because I kind of feel protective. I think there's something there. I don't know if you do or not, but I definitely feel like there is presences on that island, in that fort, who do react and interact with us. Mm-hmm. And specifically with me, I felt it. And I don't mean felt it as in that, hippy-dippy kind of, I feel it, mm-hmm. Not like that. But when you're getting intelligent responses. Mm-hmm. Another thing, too, the K2 meters. They were getting hits on the K2s, and they're going, oh my God, we got hits. You and I, from all of the many, many hours and weekends and months that we've spent out there, we know every time a ship goes by that island,
you have radio signals going, and it's constant.
It sets off the K2s. Yeah. We know that, so we don't rely on K2s mm-hmm. for evidence out there.
Right. Getting back to what you said about how do I feel, I don't know what's there. I don't know what to call it, but I will just say that yes, something is going on. I don't mm-hmm. know what it is, but something is going on, mm-hmm. and I'll just leave it at that.
There was a lot of subjective experiences that they were having. Mm-hmm. They were saying, I feel a cold chill on my hand. Well, okay, right. You can't show that on screen. You can only take that person's word mm-hmm. for it. I saw a shadow. I saw it. It went right there. Well, mm-hmm. okay, sure you did, but show us the evidence.
Yeah.
I just saw a face on the wall behind you.
No evidence.
Well, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? And
yeah, very fantastical.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of fantastical, they had this device that they created. Now, I give the team props for thinking outside the box and trying to come up with new experiment techniques to communicate and or interact with possible paranormal entities. Now, what this team their contraption that they made was called the flame vortex trap. Okay, what this was like a large plastic cylinder. In it was a fan. They had a fan in the bottom of it. Then a metal bowl, and in the bowl was ethanol. Mm-hmm. About 2 feet above that bottom bowl, they had an inverted metal bowl that had, a gunpowder charge in it and also dry ice. So the idea was they're going to light the ethanol on fire at the bottom. The fan was going to blow the flame and the heat upward toward the dry ice. The dry ice is emitting cold, which is naturally sinking downward. It's going to create a vortex with the cold air and the hot air hitting each other, and with the help of the fan, it's going to create a vortex. Okay, whatever. I don't know what this has to do with paranormal investigating.
Is that like El Nino? Or like the polar vortex? Is it similar?
Okay, so they had a K2 meter hooked up to it also. And the idea was they're going to create this vortex, and entities are going to be attracted to this vortex because they're going to put a trigger object in there. Now, a former fort guide had provided them with it's kind of like a bullet casing, I guess it was. That was the trigger object. Entities would be drawn to this thing, so they put that inside the thing. They lit it on fire, cranked it up, and they were waiting. Now, when the K2 meter goes off, they're going to know that the entities have been attracted to the vortex. They set off the gunpowder charge in the top bowl, which, by the way, is above the 2-foot-tall flame from the burning ethanol. Okay, we'll get to that later. Yeah, when they see some kind of activity, boom, they set the thing off, and the top bowl drops on the bottom bowl, capturing the ghost.
Ghostbusters! Oh my god.
Like 2 metal mixing bowls, it's going to contain a ghost. They're going to trap it. Okay, right. Whatever. Like I said, give them props for being creative. But first of all, you don't know what it is. Second of all, you don't know how it operates. I'm talking about, a spirit or an entity. Why would it be trapped inside of metal bowls that were just placed on top of each other? I don't know. Or why would they be attracted to a little bullet casing? I don't know. Why do you have 2-foot-tall flames flying upward toward a gunpowder charge, which, guess what? Boom! It goes off. The guy didn't trigger it. It went off on its own, and they're like, oh my god, we caught a ghost. Yeah, because the goddamn flame is going up, and it set the...
Oh, boy. All right.
I don't know what else to say, but you guys, when you watch these shows, just watch it, and don't think any of it's real. They had another shot where... night vision camera upstairs where they had all the cots where the troops would sleep, and a piece of dust fly across the screen, and they're like, hey, look, there it goes. Yeah. There it was, right there, an entity.
It's dust.
Yeah. So anyhow, greatly disappointed with the show. And
well, there are 2 things I want to mention.
Do it.
Getting back to what you were talking about the whole dungeon thing, I remember, now I did 2 tours, 2 sets, however you want to say it, in October 2013 and 2014.
Right.
So the people that work at the park who assist us.
The fort staff.
There you go, the fort staff.
The state parks fort staff, yeah.
One of the things that they told us was that a lot of people ask about where's the dungeon.
Right.
They said there is no dungeon. So I'm kind of wondering, what was said, what wasn't said. What was asked of them, of the state, of the park people, because... 2 of
our friends, Laura Lee and Steve Lee, were both on camera on the show.
They're never say that.
They're great people, and they would never say that.
Yeah,
and so the writers of the show, like, we're going to call it dungeon anyways. It sounds cooler. Yeah. Oh, there's a maze of passageways. No, it isn't. It's one hallway.
It's not. And the other thing is, no offense to the gentleman that they asked, who was the former tour guide. It baffles me. Why did they not ask the current tour guides?
Yeah.
You would have asked somebody like our friend Gina.
Yes. Any of the people in Diamond State Ghost Investigators who we're great friends with, great people. And they run those tours out on the island every fall. They know all the ins and outs.
And I think that's the reason why they may not have been asked, because
they're not...
Perhaps. I'm not saying anything about the man that they did ask, but current tour guides, why did they not ask them? That's their thing. The paranormal adventures, they do it every single year, and Gina is a seasoned investigator. She's done this for years. Why would they have not come to them? I don't know, but they wouldn't have gotten any bullshit, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think, you nailed the hit on the hammerhead.
Hit it.
You hit the nail on the head there, yes.
So disappointing.
Yeah, oh well.
Deceitful, lies.
Yeah, we move on.
Yes.
to our topics.
We figured we would touch on some things that Vinny isn't directly involved in, so it's not like we're leaving him out or anything.
Yeah, we were thinking about different topics, and one topic that comes to mind where I can just kind of like run my mouth is Kickstarter and a new campaign that I'm launching Wednesday, December 2nd at 10 p.m. for Widow Archives Volume 5. A lot of times we talk about my stuff on the show, and I never really talk about what the stories are about. Mm-hmm. Just say, hey, go buy Daughters of the Dark Oracle, and there's probably people out there saying, what the hell is he talking about? So, okay, here's the deal. I am a self-publisher. I used to work for other companies, and I would do work for them. They would send me a paycheck. But I'm not doing that anymore. I'm now drawing my own comics, and I'm publishing them myself. And there's no one to send paychecks, you know? Whatever we make from our own efforts. I have a distributor, Diamond Comic Distributors, who puts my books in stores, which is great because I'm getting worldwide distribution. But the comic market is really tough, and sales are not that great. Now, I'm thrilled that with each issue of Daughters of the Dark Oracle that we put out, we've got 4 of them out now, each one sells like between 900 and 1,500 copies, which, you know, in real terms is not a lot of money. I am happy that I'm reaching all of those people. But here's the thing. The last issue of Daughters was around 900 copies, issue 4. My print bill for that book was $1,600 to print the entire print run. The check that I got from Diamond for the books that they bought for me that, you know, they put into stores, the check I got from them was $1,300. So $300 in the hole already, right?
Yeah.
And that's just to print the book. Natalie, did you get paid?
No. I haven't gotten paid yet for anything.
Did I get paid for writing and drawing the book?
No.
No. Did Cece De La Cruz get paid for doing the color on the... Well, actually, she did, but that came out of my own pocket.
Right.
So the point is, we're getting the books out there, and we're reaching people, and we're getting great feedback, and they're like, holy crap, this is great, we love it. It's so much, you know, it's so different from anything else on the market. It's fantastic. But we have to look at the bottom line, and it's money, you know? So that's why I do Kickstarter campaigns. We put the project up there. People who enjoy my work contribute money to help, basically to pay for all of the expenses of producing that series. You get paid, I get paid, Cece gets paid. We all get paid for doing the work. And then we put the book in the stores and then we lose some money. Yeah. You know, but it's enabling people like me to make it in the comic industry. It's really tough. And, you know, people have asked, wow, why do you do so many Kickstarters? One after another after another. It seems like right after one ends, I launch another one. Well, it's so that we can remain in business and keep paying, you know, things like the mortgage, the electric bill.
Yeah.
There's no money coming in from anywhere else. So that money from Kickstarter goes toward helping us survive while we create these cool books for you guys. So the new campaign, Widow Archives, Volume 5, it's that would be the, let's see, the 5th book. Widow's an old series that I created way back at the beginning of my career. I started self-publishing back in 1987.
You are a vampire.
I am. That's why you can't see me in mirrors and in photographs. Although you took a photograph of me the other night.
Apple juice.
If you guys are on Facebook or Twitter, there's this photo of me laying on the back of the couch holding a brandy glass, or what is it, like an old-fashioned glass or whatever, of apple juice. And there's a cat on the couch, of course.
Yeah, Echo sitting there.
That was my tribute to Davari from Lucha Underground.
And Mike just opened the fridge and he said, I'm going to have some apple juice. And I just started chanting, apple juice, apple juice. And then Mike is like, wait a minute, I have an idea.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, and Echo was just, she looks a little, someone commented and said that she looks like she needs a drink, you know, jokingly.
Yeah.
And she really did.
She did.
Because She had a look on her face, and that's because Mike was moving the couch all over the place, and she was
What are you doing?
Yeah. Where's the gravy? So, yeah.
What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know, but Lucha Underground trumps everything every time.
It does.
Yeah, so I decided I was going to become a comic book artist. And my art really was not that good at the time because it was the first thing I ever did. And I knew I couldn't get work at any other established companies because, I wasn't deluding myself that I was going to walk into a convention and walk up to, someone from Marvel and say, yeah, here's my stuff. Where do I get my paycheck? I knew it wasn't going to happen, that I needed to practice and hone my craft and not suck so much. So I decided to just self-publish my own stuff, to just start getting it out there. And with each issue that I drew, I'd get a little bit better, hopefully. And that did happen. But the first book I did was called Daikazu, and it was kind of like Godzilla. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I created my own mythology of kaiju, and that ran for 8 issues, and then I did a 3-issue miniseries called Daikazu versus Gugaron. I know.
I wasn't even going to say anything. It's adorable, Gugaron.
Gugaron's cool. So it was going pretty well. It was doing okay. I was selling, I think, somewhere around like maybe 1,500 to 2,000 copies an issue. It was cool, and people started getting familiar with my name. But I was getting a little bit burnt out on that story. So I came up with this idea for Widow. I would do a kind of like a 1970s throwback to like 70s horror. I put in every horror movie cliche I could think of because it was supposed to feel like a 70s movie. It wasn't really meant to be high art. It was kind of exploitation, and there was nudity, and there was monsters, and there was blood and gore, and there was a mad scientist on a remote Caribbean island. I mean, it had everything. It was like Island of Lost Souls or Island of Dr. Moreau, but sort of with, the sexy slant. Because I was looking at the books that were coming out at the time, and everything was really safe. It was like PG. And my Daikazu series, that was PG. And I got thinking, I'm an independent publisher. I can do whatever I want. There's no one above me telling me, you can do this and you can't do that. I could do whatever I wanted. So I said, okay, why don't I do a book that's R-rated, it's meant for an older audience, and see what happens. So, Widow. The name of the main character, her name is Emma. It's not Widow. Widow is the name of the book. And throughout that first miniseries, it was a story about a FBI agent and a DEA agent who were stranded on the island after this failed undercover assignment they were on. There's this crazy mad scientist who's doing weird genetic experiments on the island. He has a beautiful daughter. And there's this creature that he created who he had locked in the basement. Because, you got to have a basement too. It's, Yeah. The thing gets out and it starts killing people on the island. Your typical 70s horror movie format. It wasn't until the last issue of the series, of the first miniseries, issue 3, that you found out that the daughter, Emma, was one of his experiments. And she could transform into this half-woman, half-spider creature. She was the one who was responsible for most of the killings on the island. So, I threw the curveball in there. People didn't know that she was actually the monster. I planned on that series only being just a one-shot deal. A 3-issue series, and then I go back to Daikazu. The response was incredible. Sales were incredible. I was selling, I think like 4,000 or 5,000 copies a book, wow. Which is a lot of money. Back to money. But, I had to look at things and say, wow, I'm onto something here. And the response from readers was incredible. I was getting all kinds of letters in the mail back when people used to send letters in the mail. Getting letters, people saying, holy crap, this is incredible. And this is before they even knew that Emma was the monster. They didn't even know that she could sprout these spider legs and fangs and mandibles on her face. And she was like, They loved it, not even knowing what the hook was. So at, like the last 5 pages of the book, she transforms into this monster. The end. people lost their minds. They were like, holy crap, we want more. And I said, well, okay, I'll do more. And from then on, I never went back to Daikazu because the sales were so good on Widow. I ended up doing 4 miniseries for a total of 14 issues over the next couple of years. Then took the character to Avatar Press. We did some more new material. We also reprinted all the old stuff. Eventually, she was in a series called War Goddess, which was published by Boundless Comics, which is actually Avatar Press. The main character in that was Pandora, but we brought in Widow too, and she was a supporting character in that. But throughout all this time, none of the miniseries were collected. So that's what I'm doing now, bringing all of that back. We've got 4 volumes out so far, and volume 5 comes out in January. We'll be doing the Kickstarter in December. So the whole point of this thing is to support our newsstand sales, basically, and also to get a lot of new readers. I mean, there's a lot of people who are funding these projects after they're getting the books from us, which we've been going through shipping hell for the last couple of weeks. It is kind of fun though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We've got stuff spread all over the place, all over the house, and it's like, okay, who's next? What's their name and what are they getting? Okay, they get this book and this one, and but not that one, but this, and which Oracle cards? Because we've got, I don't know, like 27 different Oracle cards now. Everybody gets different stuff. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. But when these people are getting their packages, I'm getting messages on Twitter and Facebook and emails saying, wow, I never read Widow before. I'm blown away. Like, cool. That's great. Reaching new people and spreading the horror. So
It's always good to spread the horror.
it is.
And as for my involvement with the project, I am scanning pages. How many do you think I've scanned already?
I don't know, there's over 400 pages. Okay. And if you include the Fangs of the Widow annual, then we had the Maximum Risk, Maximum Widow. I don't even know, it's like 500 or some pages. and actually the reason we're having to do all of that, here's the thing. I have 0 pages of original art. Out of all the Widow books that I've done, I have none. Avatar Press has them all. I'm waiting to get those back, and I don't know if I ever will. But
oh, yes, you will.
Well, yeah. When we did the reprint books at Avatar, it was called Widow X. I sent them all the original artwork, and they scanned them all, and they made the books. But they've had them since then, and I haven't gotten those back. So when I wanted to reprint all of this old material, we've had to scan every page out of existing printed comic books. Did I say we?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I wasn't going to correct you.
Natalie's been doing it. So she's got to scan every single page.
Scan every single page.
And then clean up.
Right. We put the files. I take the file and put it into Photoshop and clean it up. It's kind of like color correcting, even though it's in black and white. I bring it in and adjust the white, black, and gray, and just do any kind of cleanup.
For the most part, they've been pretty clean.
They
but
have.
We
just kind of, I guess, what do you want to say, like bolden up the color, just give it a little kick.
Yeah. But they're printing beautiful.
They are.
Kablam Digital Printing does all of my printing on that stuff, and they're gorgeous. Everything is tight. The lines are great. All the lettering, we were a little concerned about that maybe the lettering might be too light, but all of it's perfect. So
yeah, it's
couldn't be
nice.
Happier with that. What do you think of the story? You haven't even read, right?
Funny enough, yeah, it's like I've seen all the pages. I guess it just depends what kind of mode I'm in. There's times where, yes, I do look at the word bubbles and I'm looking at the captions, but there's times where I'm just whizzing right through it and I'm not really paying attention. I'm looking more at pictures, themselves. And, I mean, that can kind of tell a story as well, but there's there's a lot of craziness going on. Without even reading it, there's a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of action.
Yeah. I don't even know if this thing is, I call it horror. I suppose it might be sci-fi. Kind of, like, I don't even know. And there's a lot of action. There's like car chases, just all kinds of stuff. And every series I did 4 series. And each one I tried to set in a different location, just to spice it up a little bit. So the first one, Flesh and Blood, that was set on the island. And that was the first time we met Drew Triggert, who is the FBI dude, and Emma. The second series, Kill Me Again, took place in Philadelphia. Drew leaves the island. He thinks that Emma's dead. And there's not going to be any huge spoilers here for those of you who haven't read it, but he goes to Philadelphia. He's reassigned there after the horrible events on the island. Emma follows him. Emma she's following him because she's in love with him, but also she knows nothing about the world. All she knows is what she learned on the island. And she was tutored by Professor Harrow, who was the guy who created her. She believes him to be her father. So it's not like she's uneducated. She's very smart.
Well, the thing is, too, she hasn't actually had a lot of time on this earth. She grew a little rapidly, or...
That's true.
Okay.
And we're going to find out a little bit more about that in the new Volume 5, which is called Widow the Origin. Cool. It's actually her origin that we had never seen, some of the events that took place that were pretty horrific. But yeah, so she gets to Philly, but she hasn't interacted with humans. She's never been in society. She has no idea what's going on. Everybody on the island is gone, everyone that she knew growing up. Drew's the only other person who showed her any kind of, humanity or compassion. So she follows him, and she does what she does. She has to feed. She doesn't have to, but it's the natural instinct within her. And just like a spider, they mate, they kill. She does what she has to do, which the Philly Police Department doesn't take too kindly to that, and they're hunting her down. Drew finds out that she's alive, so he helps her, and the two of them become fugitives, and it's it's a cool action story. After that, it switches to the desert of New Mexico for Metal Gypsies. This is where it gets really freaking crazy. Emma and Drew go to the desert. They're hiding out. They're like, we're just going to live as vagabonds and just enjoy life. And of course, it's a comic book, so that it's not a happy ending. There is a religious revival that's going on out in the desert. There's this preacher guy called Father Love, and he's gathering all these followers to come and hear his word and blah, blah, blah. I'm throwing religion in there, and I'm trying to make some statements too. Well, they need Emma. They find out about her, and they decide they're going to use her as this great sacrifice that's going to save everybody's souls and blah, blah, blah. It's not what it looks like. Now, after the humongous, crazy finale of Metal Gypsies, Emma is sucked into a kind of a dimensional portal, and she's pulled out of New Mexico, and she doesn't know where she's going, and she's lost in this limbo, which would enable me to put her in different locations and different locales throughout time and space and all of that. So the next series after that is Bound by Blood, and she pops into Area 51. Because why not? Because I can do whatever I want. So that story, it's a 5-issue. That was the largest miniseries that I did. It deals with information exchange between the U.S. government and the Greys, the alien race. Aliens are real, and we've been dealing with them for years, secretly, at Area 51. We've been giving them something they need, and they have been giving us technology that we need, which the people in Area 51 aren't necessarily using that knowledge they're gaining for good. They're doing some bad stuff with it. So Emma is stuck in the middle of that place, and there's another character named Brandy, and they're doing, I don't want to give away too much, but there is genetic experiments going on in Area 51, very similar to what Emma went through on the island all the way in the back. And you'll see there is a very direct correlation between those two. So Brandy, she's infused with alien DNA to create a hybrid of their race and ours. It does some really crazy stuff to her. So I'm all over the place. I'm all over the map with it. Next, what is next? Why am I doing all of this stuff now? Other than just trying to get it all back into print, which is great. The reason I'm putting all this stuff out there now is so that this whole new generation of comic readers can become familiar with her and her backstory. because she will be appearing in Daughters of the Dark Oracle. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing her back. There's going to be new stories with her within the next year. Okay, so enough about Kickstarter. Let's get to why we're really here. Why are we really here? Well, we're Haunt Squad, and we talk about the paranormal and our paranormal investigations, and we talk about horror and movies and cats
comic books
and
cats and geek culture and
then
bears.
Hey, how about those Bears?
I know, beating the Packers on their turf on the day that they are retiring Brett Favre's number. How appropriate. Brett Favre. That's terrible.
That had to sting.
Yeah, I mean, because he's really, beside the controversy surrounding him and his telephone.
Wait, what?
Great player.
Yeah.
Phenomenal football player, so he deserves to be recognized. And it was a rainy day at Lambeau.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
The Bears persevered.
They did.
Yes.
They held them, and I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
what's their record now?
All things considered,
is it like 5-6?
I believe it is.
Which, my world champion Seattle Seahawks, they're what 5? Well, I don't even know.
Probably pretty close to the Bears.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one expected the Bears to be great, like phenomenal or whatever.
Yeah.
They have a lot of work to do, and they just look it better.
Mm-hmm.
Look it better. So.
I'm like diehard Seahawks fan, but since we've been together, I root for the Bears. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's talk about football. My philosophy with watching sports, actually football is the only thing I watch. Mm-hmm. My philosophy is always, I really don't want to, I can't root for the team who's great.
You like the underdog.
Always go for the underdog.
Yeah.
I'll watch games, and I don't even care who they are. I don't even care for either team. I'll still watch it, and I'll say, who's got the worst record? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull for them, unless it's the Eagles. Hey, sorry, local Philly fans, but I don't know.
Or the Cowboys. I don't care about them. I don't get.
Not into the Eagles. Not into the Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm just into the Bears, really.
Yeah.
And like you said, Seahawks game is on. I'll cheer for the Seahawks. Never did that before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no opinion about them. Never, like them. Never disliked them. But I'll cheer for them for you.
Well, I love the Seahawks. You know why?
Why?
Best logo.
No.
Yeah.
The Bears.
The Bears throw me because I think that there should be a B on the helmet. Bears.
Yeah.
I don't think. Wait, are they the Cardinals? I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not a huge football guy.
No.
I go for color.
Yeah.
And the reason I picked Seahawks as my team was because I love the color combination and I love that logo.
Yeah, I'm just all about Chicago teams.
That's true.
I used to watch a lot more sports when I lived in Chicago. I used to watch Bears weekly, but I used to also watch a lot more Cubs games and a lot more Blackhawks games. They're just not all televised here.
Well, true.
Some are, some aren't. But also, I'm at this point in my life, I don't want to live in front of the TV. And you have Cubs and Hawks games when they're playing almost every single day. It's just like, I can't do that to myself.
Well, during the World Series, I was asking him, like, why are they playing every day? I don't get this. Did they really play this much?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the Blackhawks, they have one of the longest seasons ever. The shortest break.
Yeah.
So, Yep.
Hey, you know what?
What?
You know what this leads into?
Oh my God. What? Question everything. Okay, we have a question from Nicholas Ramirez in Victoria, Texas. I have a question for Natalie for the show. I see that she's from Chicago and is into sports. Is she a Bulls fan?
Doppel. Sorry.
The short answer, Nicholas, is no. It's not that I'm not a fan. I just don't watch the games. I mean, I like the Bulls. I don't dislike them. I'm just not into basketball as I used to be. I was into it in grade school, high school, and I guess a little bit of college. I used to watch more. I used to attend games a lot in grade school and high school. Bulls games.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah. I even got to do a halftime free throw shot, and I forget who was hitting the ball for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know if it was Horace Grant. It may have been Horace Grant. I can't remember.
Did you make it?
I did not.
Oh.
I was so nervous. I think I was in 5th grade, if I remember correctly. And that was the first year that I started playing basketball. That's when it was offered to us in grade school. I think it was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And that year, they said, okay, 5th grade, let's make a team. And we did not win a single game.
Oh.
I remember that. We sucked. We were awful. We never played before.
You did softball, though, right?
I did softball. I started when I was 6 years old. Was it 6? Or no, when I was 7 to the age of 18. I did that for 11 years. I played at a local park. It's called Dunham Park. The best park ever. And yeah, started off with T-ball, 4 years of T-ball. Then you went into a league called Midget, and then there was Pony. T-ball, Midget, I think they were both 4 years.
Do they still call it Midget, or they've been politically...
I don't know. I have no idea. And then Pony was, I think, another 4 years, and they extended it to 5. But I was 18, and I was like, nah, I have things to do.
What position did you play?
Pitcher. I was the pitcher. And it was underhand. And it started off as a 12-inch hardball. And then we went to, it was called USSSA rules, and it was an 11-inch hardball. So this was not a softball, like a 16-inch. No, we played with gloves. Mm-hmm. And I have the scars and injuries and chipped teeth to prove it. My knees are a mess. My ankles, I have, you really can't tell with my teeth much, but I knocked a few around.
I never noticed.
I have my fangs are chipped. Now he's
That's
like,
why they're so sharp.
That's why. Now he's gonna be checking out my teeth, like, what scar? Oh yeah, I mean, busted ankles. I see. Look at, come on. Okay, we're gonna do something embarrassing. I mean, I'm not embarrassed by it, but maybe other people would be. But you see my smile? See that bump on my lip? Do you see it?
No.
You do too. It's a little bump on my lip.
Okay.
Okay. That's from getting smacked in the face with a baseball. But here's the funny thing. I was on the All-Star team.
Sounds funny so far.
I was on the All-Star team, and my father was the manager. And I'll admit, I had a problem with hard-hit ground balls because... Okay, at Dunham Park, I'm going to tell you something. The boys had these wonderful, beautiful clay fields. The girls had to play on these shit dirt fields that had shrubs growing in them and rocks. And so these balls hit hard on the ground, would take funny hops, and we get clobbered.
Yeah.
I got hit in the face hard, and I just kind of started shying away from it. So my dad was just playing, he was smacking the ball with me, smacking the ball back and forth. I'm getting my confidence up. All of a sudden, it hits a rock and smacks me on my lip. My tooth goes through my lip. So this was, I'm going to say, when I was about, I'm going to tell you my age. I'm 38. And this happened, I was probably about 16 or 17 years old. Mm. I still have a bump.
Wow.
It's a scar. So yeah, my tooth went through it. It was great. God. Just blood everywhere. And so that's that.
Well, you don't get those kind of injuries when you bowl.
No, you don't.
That's what I did. The extent of my sportsmanship, or whatever you call it. I bowled. Mm-hmm. I was on bowling leagues from, I don't know, like 4th grade to maybe 8th or 9th grade.
Well, that's fun, though. I mean, that's kind of like, it's a team sport, but it's also you against you. You're doing it to improve yourself, so.
Yeah, that's true. All that pressure they give you about, the team handicap and all of that, and total pins and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of pressure, but I did look at it as I have to do better, my own personal best, Yeah. I was concerned about my own average and all of that.
Just a sporty kid. I also swam. I swam for a long time.
Oh,
It was a park called Shibona Park. Great park, great swimming program, and I just started off, I took lessons at the Y, and I think at the YMCA, I think that was the one in Niles, I'm not sure, but then went to Shibona immediately, boom, you're on the swim team, because I enjoyed it a lot. Oh. However, we didn't know until I was in 4th grade that I needed glasses. I had really bad vision.
Oh, no.
So guess what? Natalie,
I'm not laughing.
Yes, you are. So here's little Natalie. I think I started this, I don't know if it was 3rd grade or 4th grade, but I quit somewhere in 6th grade because...
Couldn't find the pool?
No, it was terrible. Everything, especially I was really good at backstroke. That was my thing, was backstroke. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to pay attention. They have markers on the ceiling to let you know how close are you to hitting the wall.
Oh.
So, I mean, a lot of times you get really good and you can count your strokes.
Uh-huh.
I can't see, and even when I'm doing, freestyle and breast and fly, they have markers at the bottom of that pole, so you could tell when you have to do your flip turn.
Oh, okay. You couldn't see.
It's blurry. I couldn't see. And my parents, we just didn't have the money. Couldn't get me contacts. Weren't about to get me prescription goggles, so I was like,
I was going to make a joke. There is such a thing as prescription goggles?
Well, I think there is. I don't know. There has to be now, but they refused to give me contacts, and my vision was terrible. I mean, and it's not good. So I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. It was terrible. I mean, I couldn't even see, like, you could be standing 10 feet away from me, and I wouldn't even know it was you.
Okay, here, hold on. Experiment. Take off your glasses.
Okay.
Now, where am I?
Stop it.
I'm kidding. You want to get back at me? Ask me to read what's on that piece of paper right there.
What's on this piece of paper right here?
What paper?
Okay. So that's a little bit about my sporty history there. So no, it's not that I don't like the Bulls. I'm just really not into basketball as much as I was anymore. I'm just a diehard Bears fan. Watch them every week.
And now, our feature presentation. Well, it's the main thing with the episode, because it seems like every one of these episodes, it's movies, us talking about movies, but we love that. We love horror movies.
We do.
So why not?
Yes.
We're not even doing reviews.
We're not reviewers, we're not critics, we're just sharing with you movies that we enjoy.
Yeah. My hope is that if we mention movies that you guys haven't seen, you'll check them out. If we mention movies that you have seen, you'll enjoy listening to what we have to say about them.
Yeah, either agree or disagree, whatever.
I don't know. Just trying to spread the horror.
Yeah.
Horror, I said.
Horror.
Yes.
And we even had an episode where we talked about the worst. The absolute worst
I know,
movies.
and I want to do that again because that was fun.
You have so many.
Well, look around the walls here
God.
in the parlor, and you'll see thousands and thousands
all
of
the DVDs.
Terrible, terrible movies.
And mine are awesome.
Well, they are pretty much. So this week's topic is French films. Mm-hmm. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll do some honorable mentions.
Okay.
High Tension, Hot Tension. I thought that was
now these are
good.
You're recommending these.
I'm saying that I saw it and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yes. If there's anything else I should say about High Tension, it's that there were some complaints about it. Some people thought that, I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, it's been out since 2003, but still, if you haven't seen it, thought, well, certain things were impossible. There were some plot holes.
Oh.
But to me, it didn't really matter. Another one that I'm not going to, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it the correct way, because I've never taken any French in my life.
Neither have I.
Calvaire. 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 That's how I'm going to say it. Great movie that came out in 2004. Again, I talked about Brotherhood of the Wolf. I thought that was a really good movie that came out in 2001. Then there's another one called In My Skin. That was really good, 2003. And Them came out in 2006. That one, if you haven't seen it or heard of it, there were rumors that whoever directed the movie The Strangers, that it was kind of a ripoff of it.
You know what?
It's a similar story.
I thought it was a remake.
Really? That's what a lot of people thought, and I guess...
But it wasn't.
I guess not, no.
Okay.
But I would recommend them. That's good. All right, Frontiers. This came out in 2007. This is a goodie. This is kind of crazy.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay. So basically, political riots break out in Paris, and a group of friends take advantage of the situation and do a couple of quick robberies and steal some cash. So now the police are after them, and the group decides to split up, and eventually they're going to meet up at this inn. So friends Tom and Farid, they make it there first, and by the time the two other friends, Alex and Yasmin, by the time they make it there, they find out that the owners of the inn are crazily out of their mind neo-Nazis, and basically each one of their friends are fighting for their lives to get out of there, to escape the inn. There's a few good gore scenes, and one that involves an Achilles tendon, but I won't get into that.
You just did.
But, it's kind of goofy.
Would you say that?
There's a lot of blood. There are a couple of scares. It's kind of like cat and mouse, trying to get out of the house. I would compare the family to kind of like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, that type of thing. And I guess they're also trying to, I believe it's Yasmin that they pick. She's going to be like the Eve of their new neo-Nazi family. Like they're gonna use her to start, this bloodline of whatever the hell they are. It's weird. It's kind of bizarre, but yeah, there's some gross scenes in there.
Yeah. Okay, my first one, you know what? We talked about this on episode 20, on our zombie episode. This was one of your picks.
Yes.
I had never seen it. It's called La Horde, or The Horde. 2009. I hadn't seen it. You talked about it on the podcast, and then we came home and we watched it. I loved it. I thought it was really, really cool. One of the things I liked most about it was, okay, first, let me throw the premise out there. There is a police officer who is executed by a drug gang. So his colleagues, like a small group of police officers, decide they're going to get revenge on the gang for his murder. So they go to this rundown dungeon. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry.
There's no dungeons.
This rundown apartment complex, like this high-rise complex. That's where the drug gang is hiding out. And things don't go well for them. And there's some injuries and a big confrontation between the cops and the gang. And then suddenly, the zombie apocalypse breaks out. And what I liked about the movie, there's not one single damn scientist to be found. There is no explanation for what's going on. It's just, oh yeah, the zombies are here. And from then, it's just, they are fighting for their lives throughout this apartment complex, deciding, do we fight against each other? Do we, join forces in order to survive? It's nuts. It's crazy. And I really like the fact that there was no damn explanation. Even all the way to the end, which I'm not going to say what happens at the end, there's still no explanation. There's no radio voiceover, and it was found that it was a virus of whatever. Nothing. You're just left hanging. I thought that was cool. Yeah. One thing, it seems to be prevalent in a lot of French horror movies. They do not shy away from sexual situations. They just put it out there, And there's a scene in there, they capture a female zombie in the hallway. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they start implying that they might be doing things with her.
Where's this going? That's going to a bad place. Where are we going?
Yeah, it's a bad place. It's really scary.
I thought that they were just joking. Like, I don't think that they really wanted to do it. I mean, it made it seem that way. But then they were like, oh, we're just having fun. Like, shut up. Just kill her and just move on.
Well, the look on the main character's face.
He was disgusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, this needs to end now before it gets any worse. And I was like, yes, please say something, because I don't want to see what these guys might do.
Yeah.
Creepy movie. Creepy movie. But the action was great.
Yeah, great action.
The gore was great. The acting was really good. It was cool. You now.
Okay. My second one is Inside. And I'm not going to say it in French again. It's something like, l'entrée. Don't make fun of me. I tried. I can't do it. I can't do the accent. All right. So, Inside. This came out in 2007. This is about a couple who's driving and ends up in a car accident. The husband dies, and the wife and her unborn child survive. 4 months later, it's Christmas Eve, and her name is Sarah, the expecting mother. She's waiting for her mother to pick her up so that they can go to the hospital to prep her for her baby's birth, which is supposed to take place on Christmas Day. Oh. So as she's waiting, there's a knock on the door. And it's a woman, and she asks to use her phone. And Sarah senses something about her, something that's wrong, and she tells her no. And the woman is a bit persistent. Sarah shuts the door on her, but as she's shutting, she's also a photographer, she tries to snap a picture of her. So now she goes back and she's developing the pictures, and she also develops some other pictures, and she realizes this woman has appeared in other pictures. This woman has been stalking her. So now she's freaked out. She calls the police. She's still waiting for her mother, calls the police. Well, this woman eventually makes it into the house. And from that point on, the woman is just absolutely relentless in getting her child. She wants her child. She wants...
The unborn child.
The unborn child. And I'll just say this without ruining anything. There's a good reason why she is after this particular woman for her child. And it's very gory. It's very, very gory. But it's very, very good. So I recommend it.
It sounds like one of those where what people do to each other is way worse than what any zombie or monster or vampire could do.
Yeah.
And that makes them scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the things that we're capable of doing. You know, it's funny. With comic books and like the books that I do, I'll show scenes that are crazy gory and people go, oh, you crazy, that's the worst thing. And I'm like, I'm holding back. If I drew and wrote the stuff that we actually see in the news, that story right there, that's real, that's happened. I don't know where it's going, but I can imagine where it's going. This has been happening
with friends and stuff, or people tricking people, like on Craigslist, or friends having friends that they're jealous of, and trying to take a baby out of their stomach. I mean, and successfully doing it and killing the mom or and the baby in the process. It's psychotic, but it's real life. It happens.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of crazy, we'll go to my next one. It's called The Grapes of Death. 1978. It was directed by Jean Rollin.
Wow,
hey!
That's good.
Or over here in the States, it would be Jean Rollin, or maybe Gene Rollin. I don't know. But anyhow, really cool movie. Not the greatest. You and I watched it. Very bizarre.
Beautiful scenery.
It starts out beautiful.
Yeah.
This woman is taking a nice train ride through the beautiful countryside, and there's a guy on the train who sits down next to her, and his neck starts bleeding. And she's like, wait a minute, hold on, what the hell's going on? She goes out into the hallway of the train there. She finds a friend of hers who she had met on the train. She's dead. Oh my God, what's going on? She knows this guy killed her. So she jumps off of the train and runs to the nearest village where they have a dungeon. Oh, no, wait, sorry. There's no...
Worst holiday ever!
She goes to the village for help. She finds a house with a father and a daughter, and they welcome her in and like, okay, sit down, calm down. And she realizes there's something really weird going on, something wrong with the father. She finds out that the mother has been killed. The father's nuts. What we're finding out is that people are going crazy, and they're developing these bizarre, oozy pussies, blood-drooping kind of sores, and they're sort of like zombies, and they just want to kill people. You know, it's kind of one of those typical chase kind of movies where she's trying to find her way to safety, and there's bad things all around her. There's a blind girl that they introduce. Her name's Lucy. You know, I'm not sure why they put beautiful blind girls in movies. I think because they just look creepy because they always have those great contact lenses in. And there's another woman who shows up, the blonde with the white robe. She comes in, looks like maybe she's a good guy, but maybe she's a bad guy. We don't really know. Turns out she was a porn star. You didn't know that?
She was in that Cavalier, that one that I'm pronouncing
really?
very nicely. Yeah. She was in that too, which I found to be really funny.
Oh. Brigitte Lay, her name is. It's not spelled the way you think.
Stop it! You're Wolfer.
But, you know, again, it's an unsettling movie because of the unflinching nudity. It made me uncomfortable. Again, what is the deal with the nudity and the murder and I don't know, they were like, how many lights can we get in here when we rip the girl's shirt off so that we make sure we see every, you know, like, it was not subtle in any way, and that was kind of weird.
You know, either it's straight up perversion, or it's just not having an inhibition. Like, nudity is nudity, it's natural, or either it's, I think sometimes there's a bit of a perversion to it. Like, you just said something about the beautiful blind girl. Well, there's an absolute vulnerability to that. She's blind, she cannot see, but yet she's so beautiful.
No.
I don't know, I find it to be kind of pervy in a way. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
I could be totally off. I mean, I don't know what the writer or director had in mind, but...
Do you have a psychology degree? Wow, you're right, Natalie.
I took some in a junior college, but no. That's just, I don't know, just my guess.
Kind of skeevy.
I know! Way to make me watch these skeevy movies, Mike. You felt uncomfortable.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so my number one movie is Martyrs. Came out in 2008.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Martyrs. And I'm saying that correctly.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's funny enough. Lucy. There's a young girl, Lucy, and she escapes a warehouse where she's been kept for some time, and she's been physically tortured. So next thing you know, she's taken into an orphanage and becomes friends with another girl, Anna. 15 years later, they decide that they're going to find the people that tormented Lucy.
Oh.
So they go out in search of these people, and Lucy's convinced that she's found this man and woman that did this to her. All the while, Anna isn't so sure because she's thinking that, she's questioning Lucy's mental stability. Through further investigation, Anna finds out that Lucy is right. However, she's quickly captured and now faces the same horrific torture and deprivation that Lucy went through by a secret society cult-type group. This cult, they believe that by causing extreme pain and by systematically torturing their victims, that the victims will have some kind of transcendence through their suffering, and it'll provide them with secrets to the afterlife.
Oh boy.
The premise is really cool, but it's a tough movie to watch. If you're if you don't have a strong stomach and you don't like torture, I don't recommend this. Yeah, the movie is gory. The whole movie is gory, but the last 45 minutes or so after Anna's capture, it's pretty brutal. It's, like I said, it's torture, it's deprivation.
I have a strong stomach, but you notice that's not one of the films in your collection that I've pulled out and said, hey, let's watch this.
I know.
It's
I'm just
sitting
waiting.
on the shelf.
It's right there. It's right there. Yeah, you have to watch. I have Inside. I have Martyrs. I don't have Frontiers, unfortunately, but we should definitely. And I'm going to say it.
Say it.
I can't even spit it out. I'm so angry. And what is this? What is this?
I'm not sure what that hand gesture was.
Yeah. They're going to remake Martyrs, an American version.
Oh, yay!
Yippee! Because we're too stupid to look at subtitles.
Oh,
It pisses me off to no end. All these remakes of films that are great. Sure, go ahead, remake films that aren't that great. And I know the line between what's great and what isn't, that can be very, subjective or whatever the word is that I'm misusing or trying to use. I don't know. But you know what I mean. That's people's personal opinion, but I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And they're going to dumb it down. They're going to water it down. They're not going to be able to make a movie like that. You'd have to make it NC-17 as far as I'm concerned. You're not going to do it any justice. Leave it the hell alone.
Remakes.
Yeah, they're going to try to remake Audition. Takashi Miike's Audition, that's, they're supposed to remake that. There's a bunch of them I can't even think right now because I can't even think straight. It just angers me. Just leave it alone. So, what I do is that I won't give these movies a time of day. You remake a movie that was great, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to support it.
Yeah.
No soup for you. That's how it's going down. Okay, your turn, baby.
Okay, my last one. This was a French-Czechoslovakian co-production. It's an animated movie. It's called Fantastic Planet. Came out in 1973. It won the Special Jury Prize at 1973 Cannes Film Festival. This movie, I don't even know how to describe it. It's surreal. It's trippy.
I never saw it, so please do.
I saw it as a kid in the theater. And I was like, I don't know what that acid everybody's talking about is, but this must be what it's like, because it was very, very strange. It takes place in the future. Human beings have been transported to this other planet by this race of blue giants. They're called drogs, and they call the humans ohms. Now, the drogs have made pets out of human beings, and they're small. An ohm can fit in the palm of a drog's hand. Now, there are some ohms who are kept as pets. There are others who live out in the wild. The ones that live in the wild are basically considered pests, just like we might consider insects or, wild animals, stray cats, whatever. They're an annoyance. So, one of the main characters, her name is Tiva. She's a drog. She has a small boy. His name is Terror. He's an ohm, and he's her pet, and we see him grow up as, she takes care of him. And, the drog children, they stage fights between the ohms. Let's watch them battle to the death. And,
Wow.
it's kind of morbid.
Yeah.
But she learns through this set of headphones, basically school. They put on these headsets and they have all this information put into their heads. And he has a collar on that keeps him from running away from her. There's a short in his collar, and it kind of makes a connection to her headset. So he's able to absorb all the knowledge that she's learning, because the Ohms aren't really that intelligent, and the Drogs are super advanced, super intelligent. They go through these bizarre meditation cycles, and it's weird. The landscapes are completely foreign. There's strange little creatures and weird plants that do shit that plants aren't supposed to do, and it's like mind-bending. Just, it's mesmerizing to sit and watch this. The music and the sound effects are also very ethereal, otherworldly. It's got that bizarre early 70s synthesizer, outer spacey, like echoey and...
Don't ever do that again. That was too good.
Not to be confused with Boo 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 Boo, which was late 70s.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool film, and it's about the Ohms trying to survive, and the Drogs, they try to exterminate them. There's a scene where there's 2 Drogs walking down the sidewalk, and they look, and there's some Ohms over there, and there's a little village of them in the dirt, and they're like, they're such an annoyance. Yeah. And they just start crushing them, stomping on them, and there's blood, and they're just flattening them. It's disgusting. They do a purge where they're like, okay, there's too many of them, we need to clear out the park, and they they fumigate, and they're all dying, choking to death. They roll out these giant silver balls that just roll around and just smash them, and their bodies are all stuck to the outside of the balls. It's like crazy morbid.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bizarre stuff.
Sounds exactly
and there's worse
like
machines. I'm not even going to describe them, but...
Well, I need to see it. And it sounds exactly like how humans treat non-humans.
Exactly the point.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I forget how old I was, like 8 or 9 or something. I knew. I'm like, holy crap. That's exactly the way we treat lower species in our world. Why are we crushing that insect simply because it exists?
Just
it's
because
not bothering
we can.
anybody.
What are we doing? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's just go smash that anthole. Well, why? It's not bothering you.
So, lesson learned.
Yeah.
I never killed another bug for the rest of my life.
Oh, you're a liar. I'd like to see that. That sounds really cool. I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's groovy. Yep, so we're breaking down.
So that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it for this week.
So I'd like to say, don't forget, in 4 more days, this Saturday, December 5th, is Krampus night.
That's right.
I hope you haven't been naughty. Well, I hope you have. But I hope all of you out there haven't.
Ha-cha-cha.
I've already been gathering my birch sticks. What else are we doing this Saturday, Mike?
You know what we're doing? We're going to go see our friend Brian Recker. We're going to go see the East Coast Pro Wrestling Show. Mm-hmm. It's an indie promotion. We haven't been yet, and Brian's been saying, you got to come out and see this stuff, because he knows how much we love Lucha Underground. Mm-hmm. We've never been to a live wrestling event, so this is going to be our first.
Yeah.
And he pulled some strings.
He sure did.
He got us front row seats.
I know. Very thankful for that.
So we're psyched, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we celebrate Krampus night.
Yeah, wrestling.
Watch some indie wrestling.
Hell yeah.
It's going to get crazy.
So that's it for this week. Next week, Vinny will be back with us. We're going to have a brand new topic to discuss. And until then,
stay spooky.